This is Air Canada, the flag carrier and best airline in all of Canada.
Today, we're going to be flying with them. Unlike the last two times, today, instead of doing Spirit or Flair, which are the worst airlines in their country, today we're doing the best airline in my country, which is Canada. Now it's about 3 days before my flight's on Air Canada, and we are already running into some problems. But I'll tell you a little bit about it first. So basically, just to make it easier on us, we're flying out of London, and then we're gonna fly to Toronto on Air Canada Express Dash8. So nothing has gone wrong with this. The only problem is that after that we're flying with Air Canada to Zurich, Switzerland from Toronto. And the problem is that between the time we get off the plane and the time we get onto the plane to Zurich is we have 1 hour and 3 minute layover. So after we get off the plane, we have 3 minutes till boarding starts. So that's one of our problems. And our second problem is that we're supposed to be flying on a Boeing 777 from Toronto to Zurich, but they changed the aircraft on us, and we specifically booked seats, and they canceled them. So now they've replaced us on an Airbus A330, except we're in like the last row of the plane. Well, it depends. I'm hoping that there's two layouts for the A330, and I'm hoping that we get the better one. So the first layout is, if we get the good one, then we're directly in the middle of the plane. But if we get the bad one, we're in the last row. So I hope that doesn't happen to us. And now I'm gonna look at the reviews because I forgot to do that last time. Whoops.
So the next thing I did was go onto Google and search for Air Canada reviews, where it brought me to TripAdvisor. Right off the bat, I can see that Air Canada is a solid 3-star airline. They have 3.5 stars in legroom, 3 in seat comfort, 3.5 in IFE, 3 in onboard experience, 3 in customer service, 3 in value for money, 3.5 for cleanliness, 3.5 for check-in and boarding, and 3 for food and beverage. Looking at the reviews, they're honestly kind of meh. A bunch of people are saying they're great, some people say they're poor, but what scares me the most is that almost everyone says that they are terrible. Air Canada is also known as the airline of delays. So delays, less because of delays, more delays. But then one person said it was actually really good and rated 5 stars, so I hope that's my experience.
Alright guys, so I got a new bag specifically for traveling, and it fits the Air Canada size regulations. So now I'm going to show you what I'm packing for my flight on Air Canada. First thing that's going in the bag is my laptop. You might not have seen it in my previous videos because on when I flew the Spirit, I used my phone. I used a video editing software on my phone. For Flair, I sent it in my checked bag, but now I'm bringing it with me. So I'm gonna go right in here. Next thing I'm packing is this bag. It has a spare set of clothes in case our luggage gets lost. And if it doesn't fit, I'll just end up dumping my clothes out and just shoving them in the bottom of my bag. Okay. Next thing I'm packing is my iPad and my folder with paper and stuff so I can draw. And just so you guys know, I'm packing my phone too, but that's going in my pocket because I record everything with it. Actually, I'm recording my video of me packing with my phone right now. Alright, so this can go in here. Whoops, the wrong way. Alright, that goes in there. And then my iPad will go on top. Alright, now my iPad and my folder are in there. Now it's going to be a bit different this time. These are my wipes to use on the plane because I always like to wipe down my face before bed. So those will go in my very front pocket. Can't even notice they're there. Next thing I'm packing is this little cosmetics bag. It's going to go... You know what? This is not working for me. And then I'm just gonna take everything out and don't need to fold it. I'm just gonna do that. Shove it in the bottom of my bag. 2, Wait a minute, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna take out my laptop, and then I'm gonna shove this in the bottom back pocket of my bag. There we go. That's good. And now my laptop can go in on top. Alright, that's good. Now my cosmetics bag is gonna go in on top of my laptop. Next thing that's going in is my pencil case. And if it can't fit, then I'll just leave it behind and I'll just share with my sister. But you guys didn't know I had a sister. Alright. Next thing I'm packing is this super itty bitty mini water bottle, but it's really cool because it's like this. It's tiny like this, and the next thing you know, if I unscrew it, it's a big water bottle. So I'll pack that. Okay, I'm not sure all this is gonna fit. I'll just shove it in there. There we go. Next thing I'm packing is this. It's just a bag of small snacks for the flight. Just in case I get hungry because, well, you can't really trust Air Canada exactly. Because they sometimes serve good, sometimes it is absolutely crap. So, there we go. That's my bag of snacks. Next thing I'm packing, my other water bottle. This is for walking around the cities in Europe. Because we're not taking cars around, we're walking everywhere. And I don't like walking, and I get really tired, so here's my water bottle. I'm not sure all this is gonna fit. Brother. Okay, that doesn't fit. It said there was a water bottle compartment here. Yeah, there's a water bottle compartment on this side, so I'll just pack this last. There we go, now I have more space. Alright, there we go. That looks good. Alright, I just opened up myself some more space. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to... This is my laptop charger. And my iPhone charger is inside my pencil case. So, there we go. Basically, in Europe, they have different plugs than in Canada. So, like, for Canada, I don't have one on this wall, but they're a, well, you Canadians know, and Americans as well, you know. It's like the 2 prongs and then the 3rd bottom prong. In Europe, it's really different, so these are basically gonna plug into the wall in Europe, and then they'll fit our American chargers. So these will go in with my wipes. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pack this. Basically, it's gonna help me with my phone. And that pocket is done, so I'll close that. And this pocket. Then it shall be good. And then I will be ready to fly with Air Canada. Brother, why? Alright, there we go. This is my backpack. I'm also bringing this hat, but I'm wearing it under my other hat. I am ready to fly.
And now, since it's 24 hours before my flight, we're going to be doing the check-in process. Now, it's easier for us to do it on the mobile app because the website isn't really that good. So we're gonna do it on mobile, but I'll try to fit as much of it in as I can.
So the next thing I did was open the Air Canada mobile app, select our passengers, and start the check-in process. The next step, it showed us our route from Toronto to Zurich on the Airbus A330, Air Canada flight 880, and then we continued to the next step. We were able to add our checked bags with no problems and just have to pay the fee for the checked bag. We were then able to see our boarding passes for our flights from London to Toronto and Toronto to Zurich. Finally, after getting our boarding passes, it was time to head to the airport and go to Switzerland.
Hey guys, it's time to go to the airport. We're gonna drive to London Airport. My grandma and grandpa are driving us, and we're taking 2 separate vans because there's 6 of us. So, yeah. We're going to the airport. and we will go for... Actually, I've never flown on a Dash 8 before. I've never flown on a prop airliner before. I'm going to be so excited for this, and I've never flown Air Canada Express, so it's a completely new experience for me, except for the London part, because I did that when I flew with Flair.
Push yesterday because this has been moving a lot.
Everybody, welcome to London International Airport. We are getting on to security. Wasn't expecting this. Our flight is on time. So I just want to tell you, this is the first time ever that my Air Canada flight has been on time. And now it's time for Air Canada story time with me. So I'm in the airport right now. I'm in London Airport. We just got here and we have about 45 minutes before our plane even gets here, and then just under an hour before we get on the plane, and then in an hour and 10 minutes the plane's gonna leave and we're gonna go to Toronto. And then we have an hour and 3 minutes till the next plane leaves to Zurich. Now, for Air Canada story time, I'm going to tell you about my experience on Air Canada. I've only flown them once, and it was when I was 7 and I was going to Tokyo from Toronto. So basically what happened was we were on the 13-hour overnight flight from Toronto Pearson Airport to, I think it was Tokyo Haneda Airport or something. I don't know, but we flew there, nothing went wrong, except for the fact that we were delayed by 3 hours. And then on our way back, we had a stopover in Calgary. When we got on the plane was 4 hours delayed. And when we got on the plane, they double sold our tickets. So we were stuck in the back of the plane in the middle of the middle. And then when we got to Calgary, they delayed our flight again by 2 hours. And then basically we got on the plane back, so they upgraded us to premium economy. So we got to sit there, and we got window seats. But then when we got back to Toronto, we were delayed by 4 hours, and they lost our luggage. So I'm concerned about our flight on Air Canada because they only have an hour, not even an hour, to get it from our plane to London onto the plane to Zurich. So, and if we, the next day, so today's the 17th, and then the next flight arriving is the evening of the 18th, but then on the 19th, the morning of the 19th, we're leaving Zurich and going somewhere in Poland. So if we lose our luggage, we don't get it for 3 weeks. Didn't get a full video of the landing, but our plane is here. Everything is on time, and I'm just about the only person in the airport right now. I'm actually so shocked. All Canadians know that Air Canada is the airline of delays, and it got here early. Boarding should start in 15 minutes, so now I'm gonna fill up my water bottle. Water bottle number 1. There we go. We're ahead of schedule and we're getting on the plane.
After boarding the Dash 8, I headed to my seat, which was 5A. Doing the overall comfort test, my bottom cushion seemed quite comfy, but my back cushion seemed quite stiff. My bag fit quite nicely underneath my seat in front of me. The legroom on this plane was decent for a small airliner. Looking at the overhead bin before takeoff, it was working in perfect condition, but I had to press the button twice to turn it on. And then the air vent seemed to also be working, which was great. I also noticed there was a lot of space in the overhead bins because nobody was using the lockers. I noticed there was a seat back pocket that extended on my seat back. Looking at the wall, I had 2 windows entirely to myself and an awesome view of the engine. But before we knew it, we were early. We began to push back from the gate and prepare for takeoff. For today's flight, we'd be flying approximately 15 minutes from London to Toronto. Wasn't able to review the washroom because it was such a short flight and they did not serve us anything but a glass of water. After service, we came in for landing in Toronto. After deboarding the Dash 8, we rushed inside the terminal to make it all the way to the opposite end of the terminal for our flight to Zurich.
Real bad. Floor 3. I am now off the Air Canada Express flight and we are driving to the big plane in a car.
Yes, Dad.
Yeah, so we're not gonna miss our flight.
Brad, do you want
I'm
one
happy.
of these or no?
I thought I'd tell you guys a bit about the flight. I think it was excellent. Everything was perfect. The only thing was that they did not turn off the seatbelt sign, and I was not able to go to the washroom, and I really needed to go, so I just did. I rushed, and then I went to the washroom. They did serve us a nice snack, though, and overall, it was great. Landing was okay, but everything else was great. Alright guys, we have been in the airport for about 10 minutes, and thank God our flight was delayed by 20, and they've just started boarding, so we made it. We made our flight, and that's good. They're starting priority boarding right now, and we are in zone 5, so we're going to be the last to get on the plane, like usual.
Finally, after about 15 minutes waiting in the waiting area, we finally began to board the Airbus A330-300. For our next flight, we will be flying approximately 8.5 hours from Toronto Pearson Airport to Zurich in Switzerland. I noticed that they had put the Air Canada logo on one of the walls. When I made it to my seat, they had given me a pillow and a blanket for our overnight flight. Doing the initial comfort test, my bottom cushion and my seat back seemed quite comfortable. My seat even came with its own padded headrest that would move up and down and was adjustable. On this A330, I had a decent amount of legroom. The floors were quite clean with a little bit of dirt. I had 1.5 full windows to myself. Underneath the seat, for the 2 of us to share, we had a full power outlet. I also noticed I had 2 headphone jacks, a USB port, and a USB-C. Looking at the seat pocket in front of me, it stretched out and I could fit everything I needed. I also had a full-size tray table that had a cup holder and it pulled out just to fit my needs.
Hey, should we watch this? No, you got a reason.
The next thing I did was check out the in-flight entertainment on today's flight. There were a variety of different things to choose from, like entertainment, food and shopping, the menu, and information about our flight to Zurich and the flight map. The first thing I did was check out the flight tracker, which is always my favorite thing to do on every flight. The map wasn't laggy at all. It also provided a couple different types of ways you could look at the map, like it would highlight the route, you could explore the world, it would give you a 360 of our Airbus A330, there was a night view, so you could see what time it was around the world, and then it would follow your plane so that you could just see where you are in the world. Finally, after waiting on the tarmac for only about 30 minutes, we started to push back from the gate and start our taxi to the runway for our takeoff. For today's second flight, we would be flying approximately 8.5 hours on an A330 from Toronto to Zurich. Shortly after we began our taxi, we started to take off and head to Zurich.
Pasta, and I like Italian food, so I picked pasta. It's like mac and cheese or something. Dinner is coming.
For my drink, I ordered a Coke Zero. Soon, my dinner arrived. With my dinner, I got a pack of Air Canada utensils and a napkin. I got a small block of cheese. I got a brownie. I got a small Air Canada water bottle. I got a bowl of coleslaw and tomatoes. I got a loaf of bread. I got a little container of butter. And I also got my pasta. This meal was absolutely massive, and when I tried the pasta, it was delicious. I opened the bread next and tried it, and it was absolutely delicious. After dinner, I decided to check out the washroom. There was a decent amount of headspace on the A330 washroom. For reference, I was 4'11" when I recorded this video. There was also an absolutely massive mirror. The floors on this plane were really sticky and pretty dirty. On this plane, the toilet flushed.
This has to be the smallest airplane bathroom I've ever seen. I know you guys can barely see me because it's dark, but I want to tell you guys what I think so far. So far, I think the flight has been absolutely amazing. Like, I couldn't really ask for anything. We're early, and instead of arriving at about 10:30 like we're supposed to, it says on my screen that we're going to arrive at 9:20, which is a whole hour early, which is absolutely great, because that gives me more video editing time and stuff. Flight attendants have been awesome, and the ride has been pretty smooth, besides a few bumps. We're about halfway there. We've been in the air about 3 hours. We've got 4 hours left. But yeah, everything's good. Can't wait to see the Airbus A330 landing. The butter. I'm going to go to bed now, so I'm going to try to get some sleep, and I will see you guys in the morning.
But I was not kidding when I said that the landing was going to be super smooth. Anyways, I headed off to bed and slept the rest of the flight.
Hey guys, I just got up and breakfast service shortly. We have about an hour and 15 minutes before the plane lands. So I thought I'd show you everything that I haven't already. I also got like no sleep, so I'm so tired right now.
Soon enough, thing I did was finishing checking out the IF. The map was absolutely great. It was really responsive and it wasn't laggy at all. The next thing I did was check our arrival info in Zurich. After, I checked out the weather in Zurich for the next 5 days. I finally checked out the entertainment section. Air Canada had an awesome selection of movies and TV shows and music, but to top it off, they also had games that you could play. I checked out the games menu. My favorite game was Angry Birds. They had a lot of games that I could play, but of course I went for Angry Birds, which is always my favorite.
I'm not very good at this game.
I noticed that finally, after 8 hours of flight, we started to begin our descent into Zurich, and then we came in for the smoothest landing of all time. One thing I was not expecting on this flight is that I got a full cockpit tour, and I even got this awesome photo of me sitting in the captain's seat of the A330. Anyways, after visiting the cockpit and getting my own pair of pilot wings, we deboarded the plane and headed to Zurich. Another cool thing is that I saw this Edelweiss Airbus A340, which is extremely rare. But after a whole month of touring around Europe, our trip ended and we went home flying with Air Canada again.
Welcome back to Zurich Airport. I was here yesterday. Now we're going to gate 34 to catch our flight on Air Canada. We have to go to the international terminal or something. We have to take a tram.
Looks like we're on time.
We are perfectly on time. It is exactly 12:40 and they just opened up the doors for premium economy boarding and we're in the last zone. So we're getting ready to go on the plane.
For our next flight, we would be flying approximately 8 hours back from Zurich all the way to Toronto on a Boeing 777.
Hi. Thank you. That's 30. I'll go 32.
We're on the plane and it was quite weird. Looking at my space under the seat, my bag didn't fully fit and it was sitting on top of my feet.
In terms of legroom, it was absolutely great and perfect for an 8-hour flight. I was given a blanket and a pillow for today's flight. Looking at my seat, it was quite comfortable, but it was the exact same as the A330. I did notice that the headrest was a little bit worn, but it was adjustable, comfy, and padded. Looking at my seat back, I had an adjustable pouch with the safety card and an air sickness bag. I'd be needing the safety card because this was a Boeing. I also had a full-size tray table that pulled out and even had a cup holder on it.
They're running in a forest and the battle
I also had an in-flight entertainment screen, which was the exact same as on the A330. I also noticed that I had one USB port and one headphone jack. I also noticed that I had one full-size window with an awesome wing view. I also noticed that the floors were incredibly clean. I was also given my own pair of earbuds for the flight. Unfortunately, since this was Air Canada, pilots announced that we were going to be delayed by about 40 minutes. But finally, after 40 minutes of waiting on the tarmac, we finally began to push back from the gate and start our taxi for takeoff. For this flight, we were going to be flying approximately 8 hours back to Toronto. Finally, after our taxi, we began our takeoff. Once we were in the air, we were immediately served lunch. I noticed that the meal was very similar to the one that we got on the A330. But since I didn't eat breakfast, I got straight to the pasta. There was an option between a pasta and a chicken thing, but since we were at the back of the plane, they only had the pasta left, so I opened it, and it looked absolutely delicious. And although this is airplane food, the pasta was absolutely delicious. I also got a Coke Zero, which was my first in the month because they don't have Coke Zero in Europe. I also tried the bread and the muffin, which were absolutely delicious. I usually don't like salad, so me saying that I like this one is really saying something. After eating, I headed to the washroom. The headspace was absolutely great. Looking at the floors, they were decently clean but quite sticky. I noticed that I also had two absolutely massive mirrors. On this plane, the toilet also flushed, which was always nice to see. When I got back to my seat, I noticed that we were flying over Greenland, and I spotted some icebergs, which is something I've never seen before, so I thought that was really cool. The IFEs were the same as the A330, but this time I actually watched movies. About an hour later, I was served a glass of apple juice and a small pretzel snack. For almost the rest of the flight, I just slept and watched movies. Right before we began our descent, I was served with another glass of apple juice and a chicken wrap. Finally, after 8 hours of flight, we began our approach into Toronto.
So it is 4 o'clock right now. Our flight was supposed to be here at 4:45, 5 o'clock, and here we are at 4 in the airport. And the flight to London was supposed to be at 8:25, but they changed it to 8 o'clock. So I get to go home early.
And finally, after one long month, I got my hands on an ice cap.
Surprisingly, just like last time, we are perfectly on time. We are getting on the big plan, the little plan, but I'm going home. Oh, it's so nice out here.
Of this aircraft. Please review it sometime.
This Dash 8 was exactly the same as the one before, so there's nothing special to see here. But finally, we began to push back from the gate and head to London.
Such as laptop computers must be safely stowed. If you need any assistance or have any concerns, please let one of us know.
Fortunately, this flight was going to be a nightmare for me because my camera ran out of storage, so I wasn't able to capture the landing on video. But it was incredibly smooth considering that this was a Dash 8. We finally got off the plane, got our checked bags within minutes, and then headed home. And now for my final verdict on Air Canada. I think they were an absolutely great airline. They were on time every time. The in-flight service was good, no delays, no problems with the baggage, and I think the airline of delays thing is totally fake. So if I had to rate them out of 5, I would probably say that they are a 4-star airline, so I think they are very good. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.